The pipeline to prison from school. And if you don't believe it's happening, check out what I have to say when we come back. This is Rob Bell, and this is Rob's Rant. Well, this rant is near and dear to my heart because, I made a documentary called Unjust, and it talked about mass incarceration and the unjust situations that occur in community prisons and prisons throughout this country, but particularly in Philadelphia, a few community prisons. I have personal information and personal knowledge because I managed a community prison in Philadelphia for about 3 years. And so I know exactly what goes on inside, and some of those things are not cool. And so now we talk about a struggling school district in Philadelphia where kids are not receiving the proper education because of the lack of books, because of the lack of teachers, overcrowded classrooms. And I believe, and I'm not sure if this figure is correct, but $88 billion in the hole. And although Pennsylvania has passed a budget and has given the district some money, they haven't been able to give them nowhere near what they need to really run a seriously functioning school district. So on the flip side of that, we hear that they're building a prison to where I think they spent $800 million or $1 billion, and again, I don't know if this money is correct or the figures are correct, to build this prison, but they say the prison is equivalent to what they spent on the Comcast Center in Philadelphia. So there's a lot of money being dumped into that. A prison right next to Graterford. And they're going to be transferring the prisoners from Graterford into this new prison. What? Are you kidding me? They're going to be letting people go, and they're certainly going to have enough beds to bring new people into this state-of-the-art and new prison. But, the question is the mindset. So you mean to tell me that the legislator passed a bill or passed legislation to have money allotted to build a multi-billion-dollar prison complex, but had some struggles when it came to funding the school districts for our children? Where's the logic in that? Well, there probably ain't no logic in it. It probably is a plan. Because if you don't put the money into the schools and you don't educate the children grow uneducated, not being able to get employment, have to fend for themselves, get out in the street, hustle, and eventually get locked up. And then they become a part of the criminal justice system and the correctional system. And that's where the money is being made on that side. Can't make no money in schools because schools are not about making money. Schools are about educating our children. And we all know that most of the inner city children are African American children. And so people who already got money, people who are already educated, they can care less about educating African American children. Oh, but they will lock them up and make money off of them. Man, this ain't nothing but modern day slavery. And it's getting ridiculous. And we just, puddling along like ain't nothing happened. Nobody's protesting about this. Nobody's bitching about this. Nobody's crying about this because we don't care until it falls on your doorstep. Until your son or your daughter has to get locked up for some nonsense. And, the system now becomes, their slave owner, basically. Modern day slavery. This shit is getting out of hand. We got the violence. We got the politicians lying to us about what they're going to do. We got the big wigs building prisons and creating this whole mass incarceration system. And, who's getting the short end of the stick? Well, we are getting the short end of the stick. Black people, African American. And I don't care if y'all don't like me saying that. It's crazy. But somebody has to speak up. And if you don't want to listen, then turn the channel off. But I'm telling you the truth because it's really starting to get under my skin. This is Rob Bell, and this is Rob's Rant.